Hey guys, welcome back to Noles on the Net. In case you're not familiar with us, this channel is run by Corey Craig, my teammate, who's a rising senior on the Florida State tennis team, along with myself, Azariah Rusher, who's a rising junior. In today's video, I'm going to take you through my morning routine and then head to the tennis courts to do a dynamic warm-up and hit with one of my newest teammates, Gabri Brancatelli. Gabri transferred from Georgia Tech and is now going to be a Seminole for his last year of college eligibility. We'll go through some drilling, take you guys through a couple of points where we play a slice game. Afterwards, we're going to close with just filling you in on some of the upcoming tournaments and what we're going to be doing in the upcoming weeks. Afterwards, stay tuned as Corey and I have our first podcast where we talk about how to get that UTR to play D1 college tennis. And in addition, Corey mentions some of his biggest secrets to compete at the highest level. During that time, we'll show you guys some of our practices from last fall where we do some drilling and some points, and just to showcase a little bit of behind the scenes before we had that incredible season this past year. Stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to be doing one of my first practices back after being out with injury. I'm home right now for the summer preparing for some tournament that I'm going to be traveling to very, very soon.
All right, we made it to the courts. We showed up bright and early to grind some. Fill us in on what we're doing today.
It's Azariah's first day back from his shoulder injury. I had a sprained ankle.
We're here at Pompey Park, and we're gonna strike a couple.
Azariah is honoring me with the hit. I've been getting after the gym. AZ's been doing a lot of stuff in the gym, a lot of rehab, so today's gonna be the first hit. Nice and easy, cross, feel the ball a little bit. We're also trying like 35 different pro stocks. Shout out to Head.
Shout out to Head, we've got tons.
If you wanna get us, ATP players. And all I have to say is go Noles, it's a beautiful day and let's get after it.
That's right, let's get after it. Let's get this warm-up started.
Started dreaming about food and I got hungry, so I was like, all right, so I have a 5:30, had some overnight oats, and I'm ready to go.
Such a unique experience, if you ask me. It's day in the life of Gabriele Brancatelli.
Seminoles don't know what's coming, let me tell you.
They got a character. So we started with just a couple of cross courts. We did my backhand side since I wanted to give my shoulder just a little bit more rest on the forehand side. Forehands and serves were probably the most, let's just say, painful. Plus Gabri didn't want to move too much anyways with his ankle, so we were just grooving. As you can see, he loves that inside out forehand. The backhand technique is actually really smooth, so even though he likes to run around to his forehand, his backhand's such a solid shot. Right after, we got into this slice game that went like forever. We had like a 40-ball rally, and then he finally won. It was like 5-4 at the end. Then I got into some returning. This just was light. It's not like full force hitting. It's more of blocking the return. Oh, that one I totally missed. All right, so we finished up our practice. It was really good. Went for about an hour and 10 minutes. Had some good drilling. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was a great hit. To get the body moving and get back into the tennis motions a little bit, having not played for a few days and just being in the gym. And you're obviously fit for the court, but I think it's important to get out and hit. And we did a lot of grooving and trying to make a lot of consistency. I have another practice today where I'm trying to do a little bit more points if I can. Work on serves. I think for me, serves is going to be huge this year. But it was good. AZ helped me with some things. You can see my game from a different perspective, and it was a great day, man. Great day.
Perfect. It was early morning, a little sweat, some movement in.
Just missing Corey Craig. Shout out. Good luck at the 15. Is it 15K or 25K?
25K this
25K
week in Orlando.
Yep.
Got the wild card in the main draw, so we'll be watching him. Gabriele and I are training, getting ready for our tournaments coming up, which are starting pretty much next week, week and a half from now. So exciting times for all of the Noles and on the net.
Yeah, shout out to A6 for following Noles on the net.
A ton of head rackets here, so that's
right,
good stuff.
Let's go,
all right,
Noles.
See you, everybody. Hey guys, I'm here with my partner, my teammate, Corey Craig. We're going to be showing you some of our practices from last fall, but during that time, I want to ask Corey just a couple of questions that kind of brought him to this place, a high, D1 college tennis player. So first question for you, Corey, is What is one piece of advice you would give to kids between, I don't know, let's just say between ages 5 all the way up to 20 or 25 who are trying to maximize their tennis potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important to stay consistent. So, practicing as much as you can. I think consistency and discipline is obviously one of the big things. But when you're practicing, actually focus on what you want to improve. So, have a goal with what you want to improve every day. Don't just hit balls for no reason. So, for me, every practice kind of work on my forehand inside out or my footwork, my serve, my backhand slice. Like one thing in particular, or even the discipline on the court, always focus on one thing you want to improve on in every practice, and that'll help you.
I see. So you're talking about consistency, meaning like you're not going into a practice just to hit balls, but you're going into practice with kind of a goal in mind with a specific shot and looking to improve that shot. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah, and consistency also means like just practicing as much as possible, preferably every day. For me at least, I can't go a week without playing and play at the same level. My level falls off so much, so it's really important for me specifically to practice as much as possible, and I think it's pretty useful.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Moving on to next question. I get a lot of um, kind of like high schoolers, middle schoolers coming up to me, and I'm sure you too, that say, "Oh my gosh, I want to play D1 tennis when I grow up, or soon, or I'm aiming towards it. I'm a junior in high school and I want to play D1 college tennis." What do you think is the required UTR to do so? Like, do you think there's kind of a range? Maybe, of
Yeah.
course, there's a lot of schools, but where do you think there's a good starting point of UTR wise?
Yeah, honestly, there's a huge range. When I was in high school, I committed as an 11-3, and I went to a D1 school. I went to Boston University, and I ended up playing two and one there. So there's a huge range. You don't have to be a 13 UTR to play D1 tennis. I would say at the lower level, maybe like the lowest would be like 10-5 to play at the lower D1 schools if you want to play in the lineup.
Hmm.
Uh, Mid-range, obviously like an FAU type school, like mid-level. You got to be like an 11-5, 12-ish. And then at the higher level, like an FSU or top 25, top 30 school, you got to be at least a 12-5. And I mean, if you're a 13, you could basically go anywhere,
Yep.
especially being in high school. Like every coach would want you. So the range is there. Like you don't need to be super good, but obviously it helps. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of opportunities in D1 tennis.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So you want to aim to be at least around that 10-5 UTR, which is going to give you that chance to at least get your feet wet and play college tennis.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so.
Okay. What do you think is kind of required to get to that level? Do you think, I mean, you've been through the whole system at one point you were an 8 UTR and then you jumped to a 10. What makes that difference? Is it consistency, like of ball, is it ball quality? What do you think is going to raise someone's UTR to that level?
Yeah, one thing for me that's helped a ton is goal setting. I always make short-term and long-term goals, whether it's your level in the matches, your UTR, it could be anything, just something to set your mind to keep growing as a player.
Yep.
And obviously the consistency, practicing as much as possible, but also practice matches, whether it's practice matches in practice or in tournaments, like just play a bunch of matches. That's how you learn how to win. Anyone
Yeah.
you're feeding a ball, anyone can hit a good forehand, good backhand, but it really matters how you compete in a match, your mentality. So I would definitely recommend practice matches. I think that's
Okay.
huge.
Yeah, you mentioned learn how to win. Can you explain that a little bit more, like in depth?
Yeah, I mean, learning how to win means even if you're not like better than the opponent, you can win. So I've had tons of matches where my opponent is just bigger, bigger serve, bigger forehand, better backhand, but I end up winning just because I fight harder, I'm
Right.
smarter, I make more balls. So learning that over time, it comes with experience, thinking about what you want to do for every point, fight for every point.
Yeah.
So learning how to win can mean a lot of things, but for me, it just means you could beat guys that are supposedly better than you with your mental toughness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. Mental toughness, just kind of digging in deep and not letting like the last couple points get to you can sometimes go a long way. So that's huge. Last two questions here. You may have touched up on this a little earlier, but what do you focus on when you're training? Like what's running through your mind? Is it very simple? Are you focusing on just like breathing really well? Or are you thinking, okay, I need to change my technique a little bit on this ball to get more spin or something?
So I don't like to focus too much on technique unless it's kind of an obvious change. So for me, I don't really have normal technique. I kind of have a Western grip. I've never had the perfect technique. I really just focus on my intensity that I bring and what I want to improve. So if I'm working on getting the ball forehand cross, more cross and less down the middle, I'm going to focus on hitting the outside of the ball and flicking my wrist. Things like that that you can like visualize and look at the ball and try and like do it.
Right.
So I don't really focus too much on technique, more so how I'm hitting the shot. So, like I said, like hitting the outside of the ball or
Right.
using my left leg more to drive into the ball.
I
So
see. Yeah, yeah.
having a coach kind of help you through like the tactical phase for me was very beneficial.
I see. I see. So the last question is, what aspect of the game helped you improve the most? Like, was it physical? Was it speed work? Was it mental, footwork related? Was it technique, tactics, better strategy?
Um, it's tough to pick one,
Yeah,
but
but if
something
you had to.
if I had to, I would pick my endurance. I've won
Mm,
a lot of matches literally just grinding and just being like just lasting longer than the other guys. So for me, it's kind of a secret that I do. But every practice, or not every practice, but as many practices as I can, I wear all black in the sun. So it's like hotter in practice. But in tournaments, I wear shirts like this, just clear, like white. I think that's just an extra thing I do to kind of remain over the other people. So for me, I always focus on playing tournaments in the South. So like South Florida, Jamaica, California, things like that, or even like Southern Japan. So I think my endurance, sorry, I'm out of breath because I ran up the stairs. Um,
Speaking of endurance,
I know, right? Um, yeah, dude. I mean, just the endurance, I think is super important. I don't know if it helps me, but I'm vegetarian. I think, that could be a factor. You never know. So,
yeah,
I mean, endurance is super important. So, if you're listening to this and want to improve, you can always improve how strong you are on the court, your endurance, mental toughness. So, yeah.
yeah. No, I think that's definitely overlooked is the physical aspect of the sport and how you can actually, it comes down to yeah, an endurance, like how physically prepared you are and how long you can last out there. And that's something you can control. Like we talk about processes of the sport all the time, and like you can control how fit you are by putting in hours and training. And so that's a great way to improve. So I really like that. And I think it's very tangible for a lot of players where like, a massive forehand or serve isn't anybody can do this. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it's really, really cool. Really, really cool. All right. Well, there goes our kind of first podcast test. And I think look forward to having more people
Dude,
on.
this is good. Like, if we could do this with guys on our team, it would be good.